had three stints with Idea Cellular, with Aditya Birla Capital, and of course with Aditya Birla Retail Limited. And I remember that the manager that I worked with in ABRL was something very, very different, right? His value systems, the way there's so much to learn from him. And to me, that was far bigger a driving factor than the whole, the fact that he was part of retail. When I got to know that I could be working with him for a longer period or a longer stint, I couldn't, absolutely do anything else. And I was clear that I wanted to work here. And ABRL just happened to be the context where the two of us were working. And that would be my advice to the young ABGLPs as well, that, more than the sector and role, try to find a manager that, you can work for and you learn a lot from. I think the first 5 years, the manager you work for and the team you work for is far more important than the sector and the role, in my view. I have developed my own toolkit, so to say, of managing this. And there are four rules in my view. The first one is, of course, I think to focus on the wildly important. Uh, we already live in a high data, high information age. There are so many things to look out to, but I think, when the larger team, let's say the 3,000, 4,000 of you are looking at the most important things, I think things become far easier for everyone to manage about it and focus on it. And mostly they got to do with, customer related metrics. The second, I think, is to act on the lead indicators. It's very important, especially in retail format, where by the time you realize what has happened and by when it had actually happened, there's a huge lag. So it's extremely important to act on lead measures so that you don't lose out on time. Uh, Third is, keep a very, very compelling scorecard. It said what gets measured is what gets managed. So it's important to keep one source of data, one view of data for everyone, and that's what everyone is looking at, all of you. And the last and the most important is to have a cadence of accountability, a review system, a review rigor, a review discipline, where we are all looking at the same things. Everyone knows what they have to be done. There is an update, and then we go about towards our goal. So that's my toolkit, to prioritize my actionables, and my actionables are shared actionables. They're just not mine. They are my teams. They are for the entire, group that we are collectively, shooting towards the same goal. There are three simple factors, I believe, which make sure that whether someone is given an award or not. I think first is the context of the impact. So let's say you delivered 15% growth, but if the market was also delivering 15% growth, while 15% growth is very high, I don't think it's anything worth giving an award, right? But if, let's say, the market was growing at 10% and you grow at 15%, I think that's definitely something, worth giving an award for, right? So context is very important when you see an impact, and I think that's one important success factor. Second, of course, is, I think, measurable impact. And for example, if to me, when I ask people, what you do, or if someone asks me what do I do, I just tell them that, I'm responsible for this top line, I'm responsible for this bottom line. Just two numbers, and it gives you the whole context of what I do. When someone has to use a lot of English to explain what they have to do or what they did in the previous year, I think, to measure that impact becomes very difficult. So I think how measurable your impact is, I think, is a very important, critical factor in you, doing, good work, and hence you got recognized for that effort. The third and the most important is sustainability of the impact, right? There are certain measures that the entire group did or the entire company did, and there were certain results. But then there was something else you did apart from what was agreed upon, which has now made sure that whatever impact was achieved in the past year is going to be continuing even after, let's say, you move on to a different role, or whatever, if your successor also comes about, and takes over from you. For India and the trajectory of the pandemic that we are seeing so far, and hopefully that it gets better from here with the vaccine on the horizon. At least I think the fear of the virus is reducing, and hence there will be a lot more of people stepping out, and hence the need to wear a lot more clothing. Uh, we believe that slowly there will be permissions given to for large scale gatherings, be it personal occasions like weddings, any other ceremonies, or let's say large scale gatherings like sporting events or something of that sort, which of course lead to a lot of consumption of clothing. Uh, so I think those are the factors from which we feel that while we have been impacted, we are seeing a lot of green shoots, and hopefully the pandemic is behind us, and then we get to what we were during FY20, and then of course from there we will grow on further. There are certain trends that got accelerated. One is, online consumption, because, people are scared of, whether I would increase my exposure to the virus by stepping out. So I would rather order online. So I want my favorite brand, if just come to me by a click of a button. So I think that's one huge trend that's happening. There's a trend towards casualization because formal occasions suddenly disappeared overnight because of the pandemic. There's a lot of fitness wear, athleisure, active wear trend that's come in the last 1 year. Uh, and there's a lot of trends on engineered fabrics which are meant to sustain a lot more washes and are able to kill virus or any other thing when you get exposed to them in the outdoor environment. Those are some of the trends that got accelerated. There are some temporary reversal trends like decline in formal wear because there are no occasions. People are buying much lesser footwear because again you're not stepping out that much like how you did before. But these are temporary reversal trends, and we feel that probably in a year we should see these trends going back to where they were. I think one is, of course, the size of the industry and the relative size of the industry. For example, right, Indian retail apparel market was at $67 billion in FY20. Now, to give you a context, USA, the United States of America, with 1/5 the population of India, is 5 times bigger the market than India, right? So just to give you an idea of where Indian market still has leeway to grow, it's 25x, right, that we could grow, just because our population is 5 times more than United States of America as of today, and the demographics are in our advantage. And of course, the consumption that we could, even if we have to not consume as much as US does, I think there's still far more, for Indian apparel market to grow, and that's why it's expected to be the fastest growing apparel market in the world over the next decade still, despite what has happened in FY20. So I think that's one huge enabler for growth in retail and for anyone who wants to take up a career in retail.